The rain had already started when I walked out of the courthouse. It wasn't a heavy storm, just a cold, steady drizzle that blurred the city lights and made everyone hurry toward their cars with their heads down. I stood on the courthouse steps for a long moment, staring at the divorce papers still folded inside my jacket. 20 minutes earlier, my marriage had officially ended. 10 years together. 8 years married. One signature from each of us. And it was over. My ex-wife, Melissa, didn't look back as she left. She climbed into her lawyer's luxury SUV, closed the door, and disappeared into traffic without a single wave. There was no dramatic argument. No shouting. No tears. The silence somehow hurt even more. I slipped my wedding ring into my pocket instead of throwing it away. I wasn't ready for that yet. My phone buzzed. It was my younger sister. How did it go? I stared at the screen for several seconds before replying. It's finished. She called immediately. Are you okay? I looked around at strangers rushing through the rain. I honestly don't know. You can stay with me. I'll figure something out. You don't have to figure everything out today. I smiled faintly. Thanks. After hanging up, I picked up the single duffel bag that contained almost everything I owned. The house had gone to Melissa. Most of the furniture had stayed there. The savings had been divided. My old pickup truck had broken down the previous week. For the first time in years, I had no destination. I started walking. The rain soaked through my jacket within minutes. People hurried past without noticing me. To them I was just another man walking alone. As I crossed a small city park, memories refused to leave me alone. I remembered meeting Melissa in college. She loved old movies and terrible jokes. We spent hours talking about the future. Neither of us cared about money. Back then, we dreamed about building a simple life together. Somewhere along the way, things changed. My construction business struggled after several major contracts fell through. I worked longer hours trying to save it. She accepted a high-paying corporate job. Success came quickly for her. Stress came quickly for both of us. Conversations became arguments. Arguments became silence. Silence became distance. Eventually she admitted she wasn't happy anymore. Neither was I. The divorce wasn't caused by one terrible mistake. It was caused by hundreds of small moments where we stopped choosing each other. Thinking about it still hurt. I reached a small coffee shop and stepped inside to escape the rain. The young cashier smiled. Rough weather. You could say that. I ordered the cheapest coffee on the menu and found a seat beside the window. Outside, people laughed beneath umbrellas. A father lifted his little son over a puddle. An elderly couple walked slowly, sharing the same umbrella. Life continued as though nothing had happened. My phone buzzed again. This time it was my former business partner, Kevin. I heard. News traveled fast. I'm sorry. Thanks. What are you going to do now? I looked at the rain sliding down the glass. I honestly have no idea. You always land on your feet. I hope you're right. After we ended the call, I noticed an elderly waitress wiping nearby tables. She smiled kindly. Long day. You could say that. She refilled my coffee without charging me. Sometimes people need a second cup more than they need another bill. Her simple kindness nearly broke me. I thanked her quietly. An hour later, the rain finally slowed. I left the cafe and continued walking with no real plan. My wallet contained less than $200. Enough for a few nights in a motel if I was careful. Not enough to rebuild a life. I eventually reached the old neighborhood where Melissa and I had once rented our first apartment. The building looked exactly the same. Fresh paint covered the walls, but the little bakery across the street was still there. I remembered surprising the chauffeur stepped out of the limousine with calm confidence and adjusted his gloves before looking directly at me. "Excuse me," he said politely. "Are you Mr. Ethan Walker?" I frowned. Yes. He nodded as though he had finally found the person he'd been searching for. Someone would like to speak with you. Before I could ask another question, the rear door of the limousine slowly opened. A woman stepped out. She looked to be in her early 40s, dressed in an elegant cream-colored suit with just enough sophistication to suggest she was accustomed to boardrooms rather than red carpets. There was nothing flashy about her appearance, yet everything about her carried quiet authority. She smiled. Mr. Walker. I am. My name is Victoria Lang. The name sounded familiar, but I couldn't place it. She noticed my confusion. I own Lang Heritage Holdings. Then it hit me. Lang Heritage Holdings wasn't just another company. It was a multinational investment group that owned luxury hotels, furniture brands, construction firms, and manufacturing businesses around the world. I had seen interviews with Victoria on television. She was one of the country's most respected billionaires. My first instinct was that there had been some kind of mistake. I think you've mistaken me for someone else. She shook her head. Not at all. I'm looking for Ethan Walker, the craftsman who restored an oak dining table for Mrs. Margaret Ellis 6 months ago. I blinked. You know Mrs. Ellis? Victoria smiled. She's my grandmother. Everything suddenly made sense. The elderly woman whose groceries I had helped only minutes earlier. She looked familiar because I had met her before. Months earlier, she had brought an antique table into my small workshop. Most restoration companies had told her it was beyond repair. I couldn't bear to throw away something that carried so many family memories. Instead of replacing damaged sections with new wood, I spent nearly 3 weeks restoring every original piece by hand. When she asked how much she owed me, I charged only for the materials. You undercharged her, Victoria said. I charged what I believed was fair. My grandmother tried to pay more. I wouldn't accept it. Victoria laughed softly. She complained about that for weeks. I smiled despite myself. I remember. Then her expression became more serious. She also told me something else. What was that? She said, that young man cares more about people than profits. One day someone should give him the opportunity he deserves. I looked down at the worn leather strap of my duffel bag. I was just doing my job. No, Victoria replied. You were demonstrating your character. For a moment neither of us spoke. Then she glanced at the bus station behind me. Where were you planning to